Stage's yours.
Thanks everybody for coming out. Really appreciate it. What a fantastic night. I just want to thank not just you guys, but all these people who came out, including our great partners here at the Forum. What an incredible way to start the Paramount Network and the start of the Heavyweight Grand Prix. It's our first fight of 2018, and what better way to start it here at the Forum, where I actually, where I live, where I grew up. I saw a lot of home games here from the Lakers, the Kings. So it's a real special place for me, and to come here and celebrate the start of our new network and the start of this Heavyweight Grand Prix is fantastic. Great fights tonight in front of a packed house. We really couldn't be happier about the way it went. Everybody had a great time. The energy level in the house was amazing, and I just feel like we have really something really special and really big here with this Heavyweight Grand Prix. I think you saw some of the entertainment elements that we put together for the Heavyweight Grand Prix, and I think that's just the start of what you'll see throughout 2018. So, and it's all because of this man right here, Scott Coker, who has brought this amazing event to life here. So, that's it.
Thanks, John. I just want to say a couple of things. When I've seen a lot of fights in my day, and I've seen a lot of warriors go in there and do it, man. But Rory McDonald really impressed me tonight. He had the perseverance, the indomitable spirit, all the, the intangibles of what I consider the foundation of martial arts, and he exemplified some great strength tonight, inner strength that. He could have quit a couple times with that leg was gone. It was done. I was telling Rich, I go, Rich, I think his leg is done. I don't think he can even walk. And I said, one more kick, it's over. And then he got kicked again, and then he took him right down. I was like, wow, this guy wants it really bad. So to me, that was an amazing performance. Douglas Lima, he showed why he was the champ. It was a great fight. And, who knows, maybe they'll get it together again, one day. I look at Aaron Pico's performance. Wow, I mean, it's that kid. What I saw tonight is why we signed him 3 years ago, when he was just 18 years old, and we invested a lot of time and efforts and resources into him and help him build his knowledge and his career past just wrestling. And he's delivered it last 2 times, and we're expecting great things from him. And Chael, listen, Chael. If you were to tell me that Chael was going to try to kickbox Rampage for the first full round, I would not have believed it. But he had a strategy, and he was picking at him, and now he gets to fight the winner of Fedor versus Frank Mir. So we're looking forward to the semifinals with Chael in it. And overall, great night of fights. Michael had a dangerous fight. He came out and did what he does, and he looked great. So all in all, I thought we had a great night of fights, and it was, like John said, it was electric in there, and I just had a good time sitting back and watching it and enjoying the fights as a fan tonight. Thank you.
First question's for John. John, during the Corrales-Karkanian fight, there was an audible buzz going on in the arena. Do you know what that was, and if that affected the broadcast at all, or was it just in the arena?
No, they said they didn't hear that in the truck. We heard it too. Obviously, some sort of audio issue, but they were on it, and it was fixed. But to my knowledge, I talked to people in the truck; they could not hear from the truck. So hopefully, it didn't affect the broadcast.
And then for Scott, we've seen some sort of creative shuffling of the deck this week. I'm curious, is it definite that Chael will fight the winner of Fedor and Mir, or after the first round, is it possible when you see the metrics and the numbers that there may be a reseeding of the tournament at a certain point? Yeah,
I think the pairings are matched up properly, and a lot of it was timing, like when Frank Mir was going to be ready to fight, when Fedor was going to fight. Fedor had a little bit of like a nasal passage surgery that he had in December, so he couldn't fight, in January. We wanted him to fight here in LA, actually, and he was not available. So, I think the pairings are great. I think it's going to be really entertaining, and I'm really excited about the year-long storyline and hosting this tournament.
And just the last one, you know, tonight was a big night, not just for you guys, but for MMA in general. There was another event that went on. The UFC has already announced their schedule coming up for the next couple months, and you guys have sort of kept your schedule a little bit, you know, tucked in the pocket. It seemed like they sort of stacked their deck today to compete with you guys. Is it possible, knowing their dates in the future, that you may also try and do the same against them?
You know, my belief is, you know, we had to do this fight on this day because it's the launch of Paramount Network, which was amazing. I love the new graphics package. I love the whole thing. It looked really, really great. And if you guys saw the sizzle reel of what the Paramount Network what it's gonna do, and what type of entertainment it's gonna, you know, have on this network, it's amazing. And if you don't have the sizzle reel, please get a hold of it. And we didn't have very many options. We had to do it on this weekend. We could have done it on Friday, or we could have done it on Saturday, but the form was available tonight because they had a concert last night. We wanted to do it here in LA, where, you know, Viacom was launching Paramount, so it ended up here. I believe that, look, no one's targeting each other's dates. It doesn't help them for us to have a fight like this on a pay-per-view night when you can watch it for free on Paramount. There's no way that that's going to be a great business model for anybody. But I also believe that we both have businesses to run, right? And we're not targeting their dates. They're not targeting our dates. They're doing their business, and we're doing our business, and that's how I look at it.
Scott Ritter. This question is for Scott and Jon. 2018, I mean, you guys got the ball rolling. A lot of changes. Since you took over Bellator, you've added a lot of new fighters, even changes to the broadcast team. Can you talk about, in terms of how you see kind of your overall, how you got the ball rolling now, and how you feel like this whole Bellator, you know, new age of Bellator is moving forward, and it's looking very promising. Also, a two-parter. In terms of the numbers tonight, how do you see the tonight trending?
Yeah, a couple quick things. First of all, it does feel like a new beginning. I think with a new network, we have, you know, new people on the broadcast team. Jay Glazer, Big John McCarthy were fantastic. I don't know if you got to hear Big John, but it's hard to believe that this was his first time in a long time ever doing anything like this. So that was very impressive. I think the feedback I've heard has been fantastic. So on the broadcast side, it feels new. As we said, new graphics package, new network, new members of the broadcast team, and our new heavyweight tournament. So it is a new start for us, and I feel like we're off to an amazing start. I mean, look at the people in the building. So I think it's great. Now, as far as the numbers tonight, obviously, you know, I make a rule never to talk about numbers and try to make predictions, but I will break that rule tonight by saying that this will be, without a doubt, the highest rating in the history of the Paramount Network.
I love it.
I do a little stand-up on the side. It's the little thing I do.
I just throw something in there. I think today is our second biggest attendance in the history of this company since I've been here. And 3 years ago, when I came to Bellator, you know, it was a much different look and feel and what they're trying to accomplish, and we've changed that. And I think that, you know, when you see fights like this, or, you know, when you see the fights that we did last year here at this time, or the Madison Square Garden fight, it's a completely different company. And like Jon said today, it's like a rebirth, because new broadcast team, new graphics. I love the graphics package. And listen, John McCarthy, I saw him do his commentary when Affliction had their shows way back, like 10 years ago. And I listened to him, and he did Fedor versus Tim Sylvia, and then another event, Fedor versus Andrei Arlovski. And I said, John is amazing. This guy should be in the broadcast booth. Yeah. And he always wanted to do it. He's been bugging me for a year. A year ago, we sat down, and he goes, look, I really want to make the transition, and I think I've done everything I can do in refereeing. But my passion and my goal really is to spend the next 10, 15 years being in the broadcast booth. And so it just worked out that, you know, we had somebody who couldn't finalize it, or Jimmy's deal, we couldn't finalize this deal. And we moved on, and Jon is amazing. Jay Glazer is amazing. I think he brings a lot to the table. And so I think we have the best broadcast team in the business right now.
Jon, with the rebranding, or actually the new launch of Paramount, and in 48 hours, everything that's shifted, is Bellator going to be part of the major foundation of Paramount Network, just same way with Lip Sync Battle was on launch with the Michael Jackson thing? And how is that going to affect the demographics? Because Spike was primarily a male-orientated channel. And for Scott, you know, every year it keeps getting better and better, and we're excited with it. With the next phase of the Grand Prix and following that, is there a possible cruiserweight division being created, since most of the heavyweights are between 220 and 255?
Yeah, well, Bellator is a cornerstone of the Paramount Network. Viacom is really proud to have it in its portfolio, and we're going to continue to support it. And essentially what this has done is given the home of Bellator a broader and bigger network to put its shows on. So essentially, this is a great thing for Bellator. As far as the demographics go, I think more people will be exposed to Bellator than ever before as a result of Paramount's expanding and broadening demographics. So I think it's a positive thing. I think it's a win-win. So, of course, you're going to see the same kind of high-quality MMA action that you've always seen on Spike, but now it's going to be exposed to a bigger and broader audience, and that's going to be nothing but good for everybody.
Could you repeat the second part of that question one more time? Sorry.
I was asking, with a lot of the heavyweights being on the lower end of the scale, will there possibly be a cruiserweight division created for the fighters that are within the 220 to 240 range?
You know, right now there is no discussion of that, but it's something that, you know, that we should talk about. But I will say this: Ryan Bader fights at 205, but he is a big light heavyweight. King Mo has proven he can fight in heavyweight or light heavyweight. And, you know, people that, you know, criticize Chael for moving up, that he's just a middleweight or he's just light. Listen, if you weigh over 205, you're a heavyweight. And that's the rules of MMA. And so look what happened tonight. You know, Chael was dancing and moving and sticking and gave Rampage a hard time to land anything on him. And, you know, I think that his speed and his agility helped him in the weight class and didn't hurt him. So there is a dialogue, but it's certainly something that we would consider in the future.
Question for Scott. You said during the week that you were waiting to make an announcement in terms of alternates and other possible participants. We are finally at the end of night one. Are you ready to make any announcements in terms of who could be participating as an alternate?
Yes, I was hoping you would forget and not ask that question, but
sorry.
No, I have an answer actually. We have a couple fighters that we're going to invite into as our first round of alternates, because, as you know, things can happen in the tournament. The last tournament I threw, it was the third alternate fighter that ended up winning the whole thing in great fashion, and he won tonight, so congratulations. But Czech Congo is somebody we're going to invite into the tournament, and Javier Ayala, who had a really great fight with Roy Nelson. Both those heavyweights will be invited to come in and participate as alternates.
Scott, do you have an update on Rory? Was he transported to the hospital, and do you have any idea what the leg injury is?
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, Josh, I don't know. I know he did go to the hospital, and you know, he took a lot of damage tonight, so I'm glad that he's there getting checked out thoroughly. He's got a lot of damage to his legs. You know, he took a lot of shots to the face. I mean, you know, the guy was in a war tonight, and I'm glad he's there getting checked out and making sure he's okay.
Do you think he answered the call? People are wondering about him coming off the Lawler fight and coming into Bellator, off the damage that he had. He had the nose reconstruction and everything. Do you think he's answered those criticisms about here, or concerns about him and whether he can carry on later into his career?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you know, time will tell, because, you know, he took some shots tonight, and I'm not sure, you know, if that nose is broken or it's, you know, it's just, you know, a bloody nose. But when he gets back from the hospital, we'll definitely have a conversation see where he's at.
And one more for me. Do you just see taking him to Canada? Have you had discussions about that? Is that the natural evolution of where you would take Rory McDonald?
Yeah, Rory is our welterweight champion. I think that we have the best welterweight division on the planet, and I think that Rory's next fight should be in Canada, fighting in his country.
Yes, good evening. Can I ask you first of all, Scott, how did you score Rory McDonald and Douglas Lima?
You know, Gareth, honestly, I didn't score it. I just sat back and watched it as a fan, and I didn't write down any notes. I didn't take any mental notes. It was, you know, at one point, when Lima hurt him, I thought it was going to be over. I thought a couple more kicks, you know, I've seen it, it's over. And, you know, when Rory's leg started swelling up, I was like, he's done. And it's only, man, he dug in deep. You know, he wanted that belt, and, you know, he wanted the fight, so it worked out for him.
For both of you, for Jon and for Scott, clearly you needed to stage the narrative, the launch of the Bellator heavyweight division tournament on Paramount, with those fighters coming on, you know, the other 6 fighters coming into the fighting arena, and Rampage and Chael then coming in. Were you happy with the way that played out after the title fight, and that the momentum of that fight in the night was satisfying the way it flowed, for both of you?
I thought it was great. I think it's, what I really like about it is it feels like a separate event. It feels like we're really starting something. We reset, the house goes to black, we bring in the fighters, we do the national anthem. It really feels like we're starting a new event, and that's exactly what we tried to do, because we wanted this to feel separate from what we were doing before. For a lot of reasons. There's a lot of good business reasons why we're doing that, because we want to be able to think of it as a separate thing. So, and I think we accomplished that. So yeah, it felt great.
Thank you. Do you feel like that as the promoter as well?
Yeah, I mean, you know, to me, it's like I enjoyed both those fights, Gareth, and honestly, I can sit back and watch them both and enjoy it. And you know, the order that it went down in, I thought it was fine. I mean, you know, Rampage is still a big star. Rory's a big star. You know, Chael's a big star. I mean, it's, you know, these are stars of our sport.
Well, the only thing I think was missing, I think the arena would have gone ballistic if Rampage had knocked Chael out. You know, rather than loping up the slope just now. And off into the night to thank his fans for following him, you know.
I tell you, with Rampage, any one shot could have ended the night, and he just didn't catch him. And it was Chael's night tonight.
I want to congratulate you both on a great show tonight. Very enjoyable, some great fights. Scott, I had a question for you. Happy to hear Shek Congo is an alternate for the heavyweight Grand Prix. Since he was on a 5-fight win streak in the heavyweight division, I'm just curious. I spoke to him tonight. He didn't have an answer. I was curious why he wasn't included in the original.
Why he wasn't included in the original tournament?
Yes.
Yeah, because he and Rampage are good friends and training partners, and the decision was not to put him in the tournament because of their relationship.
Scott, just to clarify real quick, Congo and Ayala, will they fight each other? Is that how that'll work?
You know what? That has not been determined yet, John. We're gonna reserve comment on that, but only because we'll probably be announcing 2 more heavyweights that we'll invite this coming week, and then you know we might shuffle the deck, but we'll let you know soon.
Got it. I think there was a graphic on tonight's broadcast that Frank Mir and Fedor will fight April 28th in Chicago. Is that right? That hadn't been announced. I just wanted to confirm that with you. That wasn't a mistake or anything like that.
Yes, April 28th in Chicago at the Allstate Arena. Fedor will fight Frank Mir as the main event of the tournament.
Any other bouts for that card yet?
Pardon me?
Are there any other bouts for that card yet?
No, that's just the main event. And then May 12th in San Jose, we're going to have the King Mo versus Bader fight.
Fantastic. And just 2 more quick ones from me. We saw Chris Cyborg walking around tonight. She had said earlier this week she may need to come to Bellator because to prove that she's the best featherweight in the world, because you do have a more robust featherweight division. I'm just curious if you saw those comments and if that's something that maybe appeals to you at some point.
You know, that somebody brought that to my attention tonight, actually, and she had just texted me and said, hey, I want to come. She's, lives in LA. She's always welcome to any of our fights that we do. She's been around. She's legend. She's a pioneer in the female fighting for MMA, and she used to fight for me before, so we always had a good relationship. She wanted to come to fights, and it was really that simple. It was just she wanted to come to fights. I said, yeah, come over. And then she did text me one thing before she left. She said, stop taking all the girls. So I just laughed. I mean, listen, she's under contract. We're not going to interfere with anybody's contract. And, we have plenty of fighters that we're booking and fighting. And we have our hands full with this tournament. So to me, it was just, tongue-in-cheek.
Fantastic. Just last thing for me, earlier tonight, Michael Chandler brought up Paul Daly. Paul Daly kind of had some negative things to say this week. He was upset that you were talking about MVP and all that. So I'm curious, if you've had a chance to talk to Paul Daly, where that stands, and just kind of how your relationship is with him right now.
I'll tell you, it's really interesting because when I think of Paul Daly, I think of one of the most entertaining fighters I've ever been around. Some of the best fights in the history of my promotion was with Paul Daly, and I love his fighting style. I've always loved him, and when I came back to Bellator, he was one of the first guys that reached out to patch. But Paul's very emotional, and Paul is Paul. So I don't take it personally. He's saying what he's saying. To me, hey, he's the one that called out MVP, right? He fought Roy, didn't work out. He comes after MVP. He calls MVP out. So we said, so I'm thinking, all right, we're going to do this fight. And then the next day, he's like, I changed my mind. I'm like, okay, listen, whatever. So, we'll figure out with Paul. But listen, I think he's just being emotional right now. And, we'll all figure it out.